So for the opening statements, I'm going to go in the order in which the candidates appear on the ballot. So first we'll hear from Matthew McQueen and then from Jared Applewhite. So we'll have 3-minute statements, and here's the mic.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you all for coming. Thanks to the League of Women Voters for organizing this. They do a great job. It's warm in here. It's probably going to get warmer, so thanks for bearing with us. I would say to Rudy, you can take your tie off whenever you want. No one's going to object. So I'm Matthew McQueen, and I am the state representative from this district, District 50. I've been elected twice. I'm in my 4th year of service. I want to go back. There is work to be done, and I'm ready to go back to do it. A little bit about me. I'm a lawyer. I live in Galisteo, just down the road with my family. I have a wife and 2 little kids. My family won't be here tonight, in part because my 4-year-old son has soccer practice down at the school. So that's he just started that a couple weeks ago, and that's been pretty exciting. This is an important election. If you look at what's going on nationally, you know it's an important election. It's also an important election for the state of New Mexico. I've been in office for 4 years, and if I had one word to describe my service, it would be frustrating. There's so much we need to do, and we haven't got a lot of it done in the past 8 years, past 10 years. The paper the other day talked about the lost decade in New Mexico. We got hit by the Great Recession, and we never recovered. We're coming up on this golden opportunity to do really fundamentally good things for New Mexico, to shift New Mexico from sort of a grassroots, ground up, and get us finally headed in the right direction. So for example, it recently was announced that we are again dead last in the country as a place to raise a child. Last. I mean, that's horrible. But if we can do things like expand early childhood education, improve our educational system, improve our parent outreach for young kids, we can start to shift that. And it's not going to shift overnight. You know, after 4 years of a new governor or 2 years or whatever, you know, we're probably not going to be in the top 10. But they do this poll annually. And if we start picking up a couple spots each year and change that trend line, then that would be a victory. That we would start to make New Mexico the place it really deserves to be. There's a lot to be done. Education is a top priority. Economic development is a top priority. And for me personally, ethics has been a top priority. And I've sponsored a number of bills to improve the ethics of state government. And I hope we talk about those more tonight. But those have been my 3 priorities on the campaign trail: education, economic development, and ethics. A neighbor of mine, I was giving my little spiel. A neighbor of mine sort of raised his hand and he said, "Well, what about the 4th E, environment?" And that's right. And I tend to leave environment out, conservation out, because that's my background and that's my passion. I'm chair of the House Energy, Environment, and Natural Resources Committee. My academic background includes natural resources. My work history is focused heavily on conservation. So that's something that I care passionately about. And because of that, you know, I tend to sort of downplay in the legislature because it feels personal to me. But I know that's important to New Mexico as well. And part of the economic development that I think we need, part of the economic development is outdoor recreation and tourism. And so we need to conserve our natural resources so we can develop them as an asset. And that's something I believe strongly about. There's been proposals for an office of outdoor recreation, which Michelle Lujan Grisham has endorsed, and it's certainly something I support. So I'm going to leave it at that. I think we have a lot to talk about tonight. I'm pleased to be here. I'm happy to talk to you all. I'm always happy to answer any questions. I have an open door policy. I live pretty close by. I work pretty close by. If any of you want to follow up after the forum, you know, I'm always happy to talk to you more. Thank you very much.
Eric?
I came here 50 years ago as a troubled teen runaway. I had no idea where I was going, but I knew I'd found a home. New Mexico's been really good to me. Shoeing horses and being a large animal vet tech were my first trades. When my back gave out, I became a business person. I've founded or co-founded half a dozen companies. They're all in business today. The information technology company I founded in Albuquerque 20 years ago is now a national company and still maintains a large office in Albuquerque. I was recruited by the McQueen Foundation to become the CEO of its Community Development Venture Capital Fund, for which I helped raise $14 million that was invested across the state. I've also had work experience in the public sector. My last job was as Chief Financial Analyst for the New Mexico Finance Authority. My public service life stretches back over 3 decades. I've served on a lot of boards and led a few of them. I was tapped by the mayor to co-chair his task force on affordable housing in '83. When our public schools failed to pass a bond issue, I helped found a group that brought the issue back and got it passed. I was elected to the Board of Ed in '94 and while there co-chaired a statewide task force on accountability. Friends, these are deeply troubling times. The character of our civic discourse is at an all-time low. We can't afford that. Nowhere is our lack of tolerance and civility more apparent than in our political dialogue. I blame our two-party system for setting us against each other, for the intense polarization, and for the gridlock. We must reclaim our humanity and recognize that we have so much more in common than that which separates us. I'm a pragmatist, a bridge builder, and I believe in compromise. New Mexico has the least competitive state elections in the nation. It's easy to see why. Our politicians use our redistricting process to pick their voters and as an incumbent protection racket. Only half the legislative seats in this cycle have an opponent. We're one of only 9 states that have fully closed primaries. Our ballot access laws are some of the most unfair in the nation. If I had been a Republican, it would have taken 25 signatures for me to get on the ballot. Because I'm independent, it took 310. We're near the bottom of many national state rankings. In part, this results from our lagging economy and social problems like poverty. But we don't have to spend a nickel to make our elections the most fair and most competitive in the country. With your help, we can create a legislative environment that makes us proud, one that is fair, that embraces transparency, with a stringent ethics framework. We can create a system that rejects special interest money and that will attract our children as voters and as candidates. Thank you.